There is a gender identity that is linked to the seasons.
Please stop saying that Blaire White has internalized transphobia, because for this one, it's very much externalized.
Sometimes you're really jealous of white men. They can just walk into any situation and be like, I own this room.
I'm pan or bi or trixic or homoflexible.
Why do white people adopt black children? It's a real question for me. Why do white people adopt black children?
Why are there so many black kids that need to... Oh God, it's that time again. Reacting to woke TikToks.
Being misgendered can be an incredibly painful experience. It's your mindset the world places us doesn't change.
I'm gonna get banned from Disney. I swear, we're about to get banned from Disney. Last summer, I got my cake pops removed, and the plan up until recently was to get my marshmallow wand reconfigured into a marshmallow tunnel. Unfortunately, a few weeks ago, I noticed some hair regrowth on my marshmallow wand. That's bad because the outside of the wand is what becomes the inside of the tunnel, so you don't want hair growing there, or else it's very uncomfortable.
You're uncomfortable? What about those families around you?
Imagine how tired we are. Imagine how tired we are of it.
Chilling at Disney, thinking they're having a remotely, wholesome day here. And you're up here with those Benjamin Franklin curls talking about your dick and or cutting it off. I mean, that's just beyond. That's just sick. The level of diseased that this person continues to reach new levels of. Anyone who loves this person, for anyone who can find one little redeeming quality in this person's real life, acquaintances, family, friends, please get them some goddamn help. Lily here is batshit. Lily here doesn't know where he's coming or going, right? It's just, I also cannot stand how they use this infantilizing, language to talk about stuff that is obviously so graphic, so adult, so not kid friendly. Marshmallow tunnel. You're a sick bitch. And on one hand, I guess you could say that he's censoring his language because there's kids around. You don't want to talk like that around kids. But my whole thing is, why would that pop in your head to make content about when you're around kids at all? Why would that, and where does that come from in your little brain? Oh, I'm at Disneyland. It's a bunch of kids. Let me talk about cutting off my dick. You are a public nuisance. And like I said earlier, please stop saying that Blaire White has internalized transphobia, because for this one, it's very much externalized.
Did you know, however, there is a gender identity that is linked to the seasons? This is called gender season. And this is a gender identity I've only just learnt about. It's a micro identity. It's not an identity that I have ever heard discussed before. It's a new one for me. Gender season is an individual who explores their gender identity in relation to a season or all the seasons. So this might be somebody whose gender expression and identity is linked to one season. So for example, winter. Or this might be somebody whose gender identity and expression changes depending on the season.
Is it linked to the seasons, or is it linked to brain rot, sis? That brain rot? That slow but steady dwindling of your brain cells by trying this hard to find a place in the world. I mean, you're getting fried, right? You're getting fried on that journey. And I'm starting to wonder, has AI just taken over? Are these real people? Or is this a demonic AI creation? I mean, she literally looks like that meme that's you're about to hear the worst opinion you've ever heard. Yeah, I think you're the bitch from the meme, girl. Baby, you got to stop. You're fried. You're fried. You got to stop treating, all of y'all got to stop treating gender like it's a goddamn merch drop. Y'all are dropping this like somebody's buying it. Like it pays your bills. And I know you're unemployed. That I know for a fact, that this is not a bitch who has a job. This is a specific psychosis. I can't put a name on it. I'm not a therapist. However, you don't got to go to school to see something crazy. This is the kind of bitch, a laugh away from a tear. She's going to snap. She's going to snap. And it might just be based on whatever season she's in, right? This one's captioned, "This is what punk is about." A year ago, we wrote a song and named it after a governor in Tennessee who was trying to pass laws banning drag shows affecting gender-affirming care. We called out several governors by name in the song to spread awareness. Okay, sounds hard. right? Let's see how hard you can get. That needs to be on one of those cringe pages on Instagram that you just can't even get through, like a 7-second video. I mean, that was painful. That hurt. Listen, I know that punk music, just like every other genre, right, has very much been cucked in recent years. However, I'm old enough to remember when punk didn't mean holding every single opinion that the establishment has, sucking that establishment and then spitting it out and saying that it's somehow counterculture. You are not counterculture, babe. You are right in line like a good little boy who's a good twink. You are. Very good twink. And just repeating everything that the Biden administration wants you to repeat. I don't know what kind of world that is punk, but not this planet, baby. Not on this planet. Do you have one opinion that doesn't line up with every celebrity, every college administration, the presidential administration, the news? You a news watcher, baby? Well, you love the news. You know, I also seem to remember a time where punk music actually stomped on diddlers, right? Was very anti-pedo groomer diddler. And yet, here you are, just so up in arms about laws keeping drag shows in over 18 and over venues, that you're going to write a whole punk ass, corny ass, cringe ass song about it, defending their right to perform any kind of way around kids. I mean, that is nuts. Your whole ball sack, which is interesting because you don't have one, but you are one.
Why do white people adopt black children? It's a real question for me. Why do white people adopt black children?
Why are there so many black kids that need to be adopted? Wait. This is a disgusting video. I cannot believe you have allowed yourself, Miss Girl, to be so neurologically rearranged by the corporate press and by the people that are, betting on you hating other races and tearing everyone apart, right? Splitting the common man into factions that are just like that with each other, that you fixed your crooked mouth to get up on TikTok talking about why do white people adopt black kids, as if it's not a complete blessing that they're adopting kids at all. First of all, the amount of studies that exist that show the trials and tribulations of growing up without a family, right? Without a father, without a mother, without both. Orphans do not have an easy life. And I know this because I have had a few orphan friends in my lifetime. And it's not that I pity them, right? Because they're often very powerful people that are, they've been called upon to pick up the pieces that were broken before they were even around, right? So these are special individuals that when they do rise above are incredibly strong individuals. However, it's not an easy road for them. It's very, very hard. I'm someone who grew up in a not great family, right? Like a lot of bad shit happened in my childhood. Y'all saw the therapy video. However, the only thing that I can observe through other people that seems to be worse than growing up with like a bad family or toxic families is growing up with no family. I had a really close friend, let's just say her name was Jessica. And I used to hang out with her in my early 20s. I'd party with her. And I just learned a lot about her story and about being an orphan. And you can't even imagine how hard it is for these people to come into the world and to not have that unconditional or even conditional love, because even conditional love would be better than them starting with this blank slate of no family, and it's easier for them. So I cannot believe that you are upset about this rather than thankful, saying thank you, white people. You tend to adopt at higher rates statistically than a lot of other races in this country, and so that's actually a positive thing. And so instead of bashing people constantly of a certain race, maybe giving each other our W's, right? When we have them, maybe having nice things to say, maybe sometimes identifying positive qualities about certain races. What are you mad about? That these orphans are getting families? And let me be very specific when I say the thing that I said about why there's so many Black kids that need to be adopted, right? Because I don't care how uncomfortable of a truth it is. I don't care how mad it makes people. We can sit here and talk about, certain L's that white people take all day long. In fact, I do that on my podcast. I'm able to look at certain cultures and races, and there are statistics to back up where there are shortcomings, what we're good at, what we're bad at, right? Fatherlessness is a really, really bad problem in the Black community. And it really sets the Black community back. And it's very sad. And if you're anyone who has any interest in having a real conversation about helping Black people, that needs to be part of it, or you're ignorant and you're not really trying to help, or you're one of these, people who wants to tiptoe around uncomfortable truths rather than confront them and fix them. And you're not helping anybody, right? So there are a lot of Black kids that end up in orphanages. And it's very sad. It's very, very sad. And not even just orphanages, because honestly, orphanages are getting, they're almost like extinct. We're talking kids through the system, right? We're talking kids that are put through the system and bouncing around from family to family, never feeling that love. And let's talk about the rates of sexual abuse, of violence, of abuse in general that children in foster families experience, right? Every person I've ever known that's been, involved in the foster system has some trauma from at least one of those families they were bounced around to. So the fact that there are people that are willing, regardless of their race, to jump in and say, you know what, let's make this final, let's adopt this child, let's help them, let's take them out of, this pain that they're in, let's give them a love and a family that they've never known. And you're mad about that. Seek help, bitch.
Sometimes you're just really jealous of white men. They can just walk into any situation and be like, I own this room. I own this country.
What planet are you living on, sir? We just watched another TikTok of white people getting bashed for walking into the room of an orphanage to adopt a baby. So clearly, some rooms are off limits, right? Like, this is that brain rot. To me, this is just a shallow, useless, brain dead, like the brain's not braining ass view of how the world works. I mean, and again, so unhelpful, right? Like, I can't wait until people get past this idea that wokeism is actually, a thought process that projects anyone or any group forward. What progress has been made for any group since wokeness has taken foot? And when I say wokeness, I am literally talking about the brand of progressivism, leftism that was born out of the 2010s and beyond. I'm not talking about any movement before that. Who has progressed in the 2010s and beyond? I mean, I really can't. I guess the Me Too movement, despite its excesses, has unearthed a lot of really positive things. But as far as race, as far as LGBT, it's really not the case. It's really not the case. And this is going to be a weird comparison, but I'm on some weird shit. I don't care. For me, this reeks of you could never imagine the other side, because obviously you could never be white, you're Asian. But for me, I have come in some regards close to seeing the other side when it comes to transition, because I have been treated like a woman in society, and the overwhelming majority of men and trans women would never actually experience that, right? They don't walk into rooms and people actually perceive them as the gender they want to be, and you can never actually switch. But when people do think you're that, you can see how, the walk of life is different for men and women. And so that's given me such amazing insight into all the takes about women and men and gender that are so one-sided and so built upon this, how the other side lives, right? Not fully, don't get mad, but in some regards. You could never do that with race, but I promise you, this idea that white men can walk into any room and own it. I mean, babe, did they feed you that line? Did that come to you naturally? And if so, what drugs were you on at that time? Let me know.
Hi, my name's Queenie and my pronouns are they, them.
Of course they are.
When I post about my gender identity and my sexuality, when I say that I don't want any labels, that is not an invitation for you to speculate on who I am or what I am. It's not a guessing game for you to play over whether I'm a girl or a boy, about what's in my pants, or if I'm pan or bi or trixic or homoflexible or gray romantic.
What the is trixic? Do y'all understand how demented it is that I'm a whole ass tranny and I cannot keep up with these phrases and or words and or labels? And I'm sorry, I wish people, especially younger people, and especially, everyone in the younger side of the community knew what it was like to live in that world of like labels are actually and we don't do labels. Because that was a real movement for a while. Like my childhood was very much caught up in like, please don't label me. Y'all collect these labels and these mental illnesses like they're Pokemon cards, babe. Like, Trixic? You're a trick. Is that what you mean? Because if that's the case, I can run with that. That's what I see. Just looking at a straight trick. I'm sorry. It was a better society in general when people were generally anti-labels, right? Because when you split your identity up into so many like distinct, stupid little categories, most of which are completely made up and unfounded, I mean, you quite literally are dividing your personhood into little small pieces that then get lost and you lose a part of yourself. That's what's happening. This is just a sick, whether they know it or not, way of deconstructing their own personhood. They think they're adding to it. They think they're making it more colorful, right? Look at all my colors. Look at all my labels. Look at all the things that make me who I am. And the only thing that's missing is you. Who are you? Who are you? Because I just watched a 20-second video of you and you're using a lot of adjectives, using a lot of, description words, and yet I still have no idea who you are. Trixie. That's sad. And all these distractions, I hope you get past them one day. I hope you get past the Haley Williams on crack look. And most of all, I hope you get past those goddamn earrings.
Fix yourself and fix your face, okay?
We need to stop saying that white people don't have culture because it actually helps white supremacy.
So you said a lot, but you're kind of missing the entire point of us saying white people don't have a culture. The point of white supremacy is to be cultureless. Yes, and that point you are right, but they did that for a purpose. Whiteness in itself having no culture attached to it is so far what has allowed them to make themselves the default or the standard in many spaces. I tend to look at this through the lens of media.
I like how you just brought up white culture and then automatically with a swiftness, right? Without even thinking about it at all. You make a habit of that, running that mouth without thinking. Equated it to white supremacy. It's like, it's one thing to not understand white culture, for which typically when I don't understand things, I don't fucking talk about them, right? Like, stay in your wheelhouse, babe. For me, I'm always going to talk about trans shit. I'm always going to talk about woke shit. I'm always going to talk about my experiences and what I see through the world, right? Like, things I understand. You don't understand white culture, that don't mean it's not real. Because it most definitely is, right? And you may just be so disengaged from it and disinterested in it. Maybe you don't have white friends. You know you don't. I know you don't. I know you don't. But that doesn't make it not real. I don't know a lot about, what's a culture I don't know a lot about? I don't know. I don't know a lot about Guatemalan culture. And imagine how ignorant I would sound, how stuck on stupid I would sound saying it's not real because I don't understand it. I mean, that's the height of ignorance. You're just pathetic. There is absolutely white culture. And wait until you hear about how each European country that's white has its own distinct culture. And don't get me started on them braids that y'all think you invented.
I just had a parent ask me my preferred adjectives because she wanted to comment on one of my photos, but she wanted to use words that I liked hearing for myself. That's the kind of allyship that I need. A+.
Ugh. Just nauseating. How are you such a baby? I ain't never seen a baby with a mustache. There is a first for everything, apparently. This is just a level of like, it's the narcissism for me. It's the delusion for me. It's not enough that you have preferred pronouns, right? Which the word preferred would imply you wouldn't shit a chicken over someone not using them, right? And yet you do. So it's really not preferred. So actually, I appreciate the ones that are like, they're not preferred. They're mandatory. We should be honest that you will, in fact, shit a chicken if people don't use them. But now we're down to adjectives. As if that slippery slope theory is just a fallacy. This is the kind of hoe I'm not going to make a violent threat because I would never do that. Right? Like, never. But let's just say this is the kind of individual that when I was younger, I would have got into a tussle with. Not because of politics, because I was a little more lived out as a teenager. Got over it as an adult, though, because I'm normal. But, you know, just because of that pompous, disgusting, shitty attitude, it would have been a scrap.
Hi, my name is Luce. I'm a trans and polyamorous therapist in Texas, and this is my therapy theme of the week. This week's theme honors Lesbian Visibility Week. As I myself am a trans lesbian, this is what I want to say about lesbians. One of the reasons why I love being a lesbian and I love lesbians is because we get to show the world that it is possible to love outside the dimensions of patriarchy. We, with sapphic love, create an entirely different dimension, an entirely different way of loving people and living, and it's so fucking beautiful. It's as important as the sunshine. The world is a better place with sapphic love in it.
Imagine going to therapy and you come out more f***ed up. That's what would happen. Listen, I've been in some rough places in life where I'm like, I need a therapist. Hello, please. If I would have got this person, I don't know if I'd still be here. I would have got more f***ed up. You're better off talking to God, baby. You are better off talking to any individual. Name one, pick one. About how to improve your mental health than this person. You're better off finding a pet rock and telling them all your grievances, because this bitch is going to f*** you up beyond belief. You're going to introduce a whirlwind of mental illness. This is scary. Whole beard talking about I'm a lesbian. Listen, sir. I was really just hoping and praying during this video that any word you use to describe yourself was going to be accurate in any way, because lesbian ain't hitting. Therapist ain't hitting. And I can't even look at this any longer.
Protect our children. Language is being used to create a false narrative and drive an anti-LGBTQ plus agenda, specifically from the right. So we at GLAAD have partnered with Protect This Kid in order to flip the script and to change the narrative and to reclaim this language on behalf of the people who actually do need protection right now, which is the LGBTQ plus community. So if you're out there, if you're on social media, if you're seeing this harmful rhetoric, I just want to tell you that you are loved and that we are fighting so hard to protect you and wrap you in a big trans, rainbow, inclusive pride flag. You are perfect exactly the way that you are. You are perfect in your sparkly, beautiful truth. Shine bright like a Frankie. When people throw shade, shine brighter. And when the right throws shade, shine brightest. Oh, grrr.
Imagine saying the words protect the kids. And it's like, for me, when I hear that, I get a basic sort of like upfront frequency of like, okay, we have an objective here, protecting kids. And you just instantly quote quotations and it's just garbage. And you move on to your narrative, which is your idea of protecting them, cutting their dicks off. That, baby girl, baby boy, baby they, is up. Now, this is Frankie Grande, Ariana Grande's brother, and I'm gonna, from here on out, call him Stanky Grande, because this is just a pile of shit emanating from the screen when I'm looking at this. You are a fool. A straight up fool. I'm not one of these people, right, that's like, oh, if you're not trans, you can't talk about trans issues, right? Like, I believe in everyone's right to speak about this issue. However, I do have a bit of a pet peeve looking at gay men in eyeliner who get up on TikTok and are paid, first of all, to do this and say anything about sex changes and why kids need them, as if you would ever know, as if you are anything other than a gay man in mascara. You don't know what gender transition entails. You never will. And you're a drug addict. Allegedly. That's what I've heard. That's the tea about Stanky Grande all throughout LA. The amount of people that I would know that would just come into, you know, encounter this individual and be like, that's the biggest, like, whatever head I've ever met. Yeah, I mean, you're on drugs now, probably, babe. Allegedly. My conspiracy, allegedly. And I got to tell you, this is not a good look, so please shut the fuck up. I mean, you literally just got on camera and said, protect the kids. Nah, I'm just playing. Anyways, here's what I was paid by GLAAD to say. Demon.
I went to Target to get some alcohol because it's Friday, but I don't have the money to pay for the alcohol. So guess what I did? I was just gonna take it. I mean, it's free, right? They put the prices on there, but I think that's just for like if you want to pay. It's not mandatory. I mean, if I did see something that I wanted to buy, like, I could have, but I didn't want to. I just wanted the alcohol because I had other plans for the day.
You know what's so sick? Other than her general, aura and or frequency, vibration, energy, is she is operating within the law. She's in California, and you can literally just steal in California now. You can literally just go in, ransack a Target, ransack a Walmart, any store. And as long as it's under like a certain thousands amount of dollars, then you're free to go.
One of the things that is ruining San Francisco and other cities is this limit. You can steal up to $950 of goods and they won't really get you in any trouble. This has created a culture in the Bay Area where people will go rob people's cars. They will go into a store and they will just take items off the shelf and walk out because it's basically legal. If they do happen to get caught, they will just be let out in a few days because our DAs are not prosecuting them.
That is the level of intentional destruction this country is currently going through. That you're a criminal, we let you out of prison. Doesn't matter. Oh, you killed someone, you're out of prison, babe. Oh, you want to steal? No problem. Meanwhile, I remember being a kid, I had hoes following me around Rite Aid because I was stealing little, what's that gloss? The Wet and Wild. I had a shoplifting bone when I was a kid, I gotta say. Not to, rat on myself too hard, but I definitely had that bone in me, and I just couldn't imagine going and stealing $1,000 worth of shit, and that's what y'all do. So unfortunately, this is the policies that do dictate California. So fix that. Stop voting blue. It destroys the country. I lived in California. I lived in a blue city, blue state for years in my whole life. It's an experiment. They intentionally create policies that destroy businesses, hurt people, and they're just figuring out what happens from it. This is an example. Girl, get a job. And with that, it's time for me to sign off of my job, which is calling you busty crusties out. Letting you know about yourselves, because apparently no one loves you enough to tell you. And then y'all want to call me the hater. I am so full of love that I'm here trying to help you. Because you can be better. I love you guys. Make sure you subscribe to this channel as well as my main channel. Follow me on X and Instagram. And I'll see you in the next episode of the Blaire White Project podcast. Bye, guys.